It's funny because the word deviant semantically, and the way that it sounds like devious. There's some relationship, and I think because I always like to get to the root word of a word, so I'm thinking deviance, deviant, a deviated septum, like this. Something is off. It's it's going against the straight and narrow, and so if someone is deviant, we know that deviance, people are seen as deviant, changes over time and based on context, environmental context, society, culture, religion, time, the age of the deviant person. There's certain things in the life course you can get away with more easily, and at a certain point in time, there's an expectation that you should not. Now that you're deviant, some things are claimed as deviant, and they cause no harm and no upset, like being a nudist. Like how that could be problematic at all, I don't understand.
Yeah, I teach a class called Sociology of Deviant Behavior, and this is kind of a throwback term that sociology has held on to. Perhaps it's a bit outdated, but it just implies like there's the normal and the abnormal. But then it's not just the statistical deviant, because then we can think about things that are in the minority that are, elite, like you're a star athlete or so on. But in this sociological context, we're often thinking about deviance with a stigma attached to it, and not just a statistical aberration.
Absolutely. And the stigma is what causes the problem. I can't think of something that is considered deviant that is not stigmatized, because otherwise it would be normalized. But like you said, it's less about the actual behavior that's being enacted, but it's about the power structure and what that means. Because the power structure, wants to hold its ground by whatever means necessary. And if that means that, something that is completely harmless is going to be seen then as like a threat to public health in order to maintain that dominance, that's where that deviant label comes on.
A lot of times my students want to just talk about the statistical deviance when they're defining themselves. They don't think of themselves as engaging in any kind of stigmatized behavior and so on. So they talk about being athletes a lot. They talk about perhaps, not having a pet or something very mild, so as not to attach themselves to a stigma label.
Yeah, I mean, I've had students who were former prostitutes, students that were, have been in prison and through a re-entry program. So they understand deviance in a much different way, or students who are gay or lesbian, bisexual, and openly come out, but also recognize that as much as.
But in this sociological context, we're often thinking about deviance with a stigma attached to it,